Everybody loves a good Hollywood feud, don't they? I mean, it's a thing that people sort of dream of, particularly publicity departments. If there isn't one, a studio executive would no doubt create one. But what's interesting is when you find out there was a real life feud and this wasn't concocted at all, well, it's even more exciting. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me. Yes, we're by the River Thames, a little bit chilly, but of course good fresh air, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit smelly today, shall we say, the River Thames. I don't know quite sure why, but you never know, do you? History, you know, so many years of history, you never know what's going to come floated up, do you? Hopefully your lottery ticket if you get a winning streak. But I jest, of course. Let's talk about something a little bit more appertaining to the world of show business, because as many people know, I was lucky enough to count Joan Rivers as a good friend, a wonderful lady who made so many people laugh and really was one of the kindest people behind the scenes, but felt, of course, her image would take a dent if people realised the good things that she did, like a lot of comedians, including the likes of our British own Bernard Manning, who did a lot behind closed doors, but realised that his sort of image would take a massive fall, dent, fall, or whatever you want to call it, if that came out. But you see, while chatting to Joan, she told me quite a lot of stories. Some of them were backed up also by other Hollywood stars that I was lucky enough to meet. Now, when you think about old Hollywood, you do genuinely think about huge stars, don't you? Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, those type of names instantly. Ingrid Bergman, you instantly think of the golden age of Hollywood. You're going to tell me off. I forgot to wave, haven't I? Morning, how are you? Yes, nice to see you. Thank you so much. I'll get there, don't worry. I can hear you through this. Yeah, he's not waved. I can hear you, see? This is the thing. Now let's talk about Lana Turner. Now Lana Turner was known as a sweater girl, of course, all thanks to being discovered at a drugstore. That was a fabricated story too, but that was the MGM publicity department, Howard Strickland, who came up with many of those stories. But later on in her career, Lana Turner decided, after doing supper theatre and things like that, that she wouldn't mind returning to television. Lorimar Television came to her and said, how about guest starring in this particular series, Falcon Crest? Now Lorimar is known to many people really as the super makers of the 80s soap Dallas. Lana Turner didn't exactly pick up a mega check. That's because she felt as long as her name was bigger in the credits, people would see this as an episode to literally watch, a true Hollywood star gracing the small screen. There was one problem though, there was a main star, Jane Wyman, yes, the boss of the vineyard of Falcon Crest, Angela Channing, remember her? Now the story goes that these two divas truly didn't get on, and apparently this all harked back to the golden days of Hollywood, something to do with men and dating and all that sort of stuff. Lana was known as something of a girl around town, there's no two ways about it, and was married numerous times, all the time believing that this was going to be the final one. Now, when they appeared together on Falcon Crest, it goes that apparently they had to have their scenes spliced together. Joan tells me that simply wasn't the case, but they truly didn't get on off camera. And it was Lana's idea to leak that out to the media, which infuriated Jane simply because she didn't like that sort of negativity. But you see, Lana had seen just how well a feud had played out for the likes of Betty Davis and Joan Crawford during the making of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and figured that this way, if she was written about, talked about, and plastered across all of those soap magazines, then she may get asked to stay on a little bit longer. But she hadn't counter-thought about just how powerful Jane Wyman was. You see, not only was she the star, but behind the scenes she was also the executive producer, albeit not necessarily on screen in titles. And she decided, after a few episodes, the best way really would be to possibly kill off Lana's character, with not her murdering her. No, that would be too bad. People wouldn't accept it apparently, but she'd already got a plot in mind. Sadly though, they decided against, murdering Lana Turner's character, but they very quietly rested it and moved on. Lana had no idea for a while, and they told her it was all down to budget cuts and of course too many people coming in and out of the show. She eventually found out, but then decided to do the whole Hollywood trick and really not go public about it, because she thought that the public really didn't want to know about two aging Hollywood stars falling out on the set of a super soap. But according to Joan Rivers, Lana never truly got over the fact that Jane Wyman wouldn't let a grudge go from the 1940s right through until the 1980s. And as Lana pointed out, the show needed some glamour, and boy could I provide the glamour. It seems though that Lorimar bosses decided they wanted a plain Jane at the helm. So I reluctantly grabbed my diamonds and my furs and decided to depart Falcon Crest once and for all. A very nice and cruel, bitchy put down, I'm sure you'll agree, from a superstar of the golden age of Hollywood. So for all of those saying, well, did they truly not get on or did they fight? That was true, yes, they didn't get on. And what a shame actually that they didn't keep both characters in the show. How fun would that have been if that feud had played out, literally, on the small screen. Neil Sean in the very heart of Lana.